Battista. I'm the founder, president, and CEO of isure. I started in the industry right out of school in '93 from $0 and built the company from scratch. So our business model has evolved over the years, and originally it was a traditional business model where I would sell insurance door to door, what I refer to as kitchen table insurance, where I would quote people during the day and then in the evening go to their house with my manuals and handwrite applications for them. The business then evolved and we began to expand. And 17 years ago, I came up with the idea of transitioning the business from that traditional model to more of an online model. So we would generate business through our website and then build out a contact center of brokers to service people more efficiently and effectively. Some things that have changed is the way business is being transacted. I think that there's a trend that's happening towards digital. We've seen it in every other distribution model. I came into this industry from $0, if you will, so I didn't inherit a business. My family was in the travel business, and I saw the transformation of what happened to distribution in travel, where traditional travel agencies began going online, and those travel agencies ended up building completely different models. So with isure and what we have done, the trend that I saw happening and I think is accelerating now is consumers want convenience, they want advice, they still want brokerage services, but they want them in different ways. So that's what isure is all about. And the trend that I see is that increasing. So we're very heavily vested in continuing to build out that capability. And we're one of the few brokers in Canada that actually do that. So over the last year, we've seen climate change has become a very big issue for the insurance industry. The second largest claim in Canadian history was actually a hailstorm in Calgary last year. Second only to Fort McMurray fires that happened several years ago. The press did talk a lot about what happened in Jasper. That was actually a smaller claim than what happened in a half-hour hailstorm in Calgary. We've seen floods in Toronto, we've seen them in Montreal, we've seen wildfires, all of these things. And so the industry is trying to figure out how to deal with climate change and the costs and the claims associated with climate change. Another big issue in our industry has to do with the tariffs and supply chains, frankly. The cost to repair cars, cost to repair houses, building materials, all those things come into play when we have to settle claims, and those costs are going up as well. So the industry is trying to figure out more efficient ways to do that. So there's a lot going on within the insurance space, let alone another matter here in Ontario is auto reform. There's changes to the auto policy happening. I was just on a call this morning through the IBAO with FISRA, who is the finance in charge of insurance in Ontario, and there's discussion about how they're going to be rolling out a whole bunch of changes to add choice for consumers that will be rolling out over the next year. It's been a great experience. I've gained a much broader view of the industry than I had before, not just in Ontario, but across the country, because the IBAO is the Association for Ontario. We represent 17,000 brokers across the province, spread out over 1,200 offices. But the IBAO is actually part of a national association called IBAC, and where the representation is 32,000 insurance professionals across the country. So it's given me a much more broader view of the industry, not just in terms of the operations of the industry, but also how other brokers operate in different parts of the country, how the regulations work, how regulatory bodies deal with insurance business. And then similarly, insurance companies, how insurance companies manage their brokerage force across the country. So it's been a great experience from that perspective. Other things that I've learned over the last year, really when it comes to the regulator and it comes to the political side of the industry, what I realize is brokers are in a very unique position within Ontario specifically, in that when the regulator and the Minister of Finance thinks about insurance, brokers are the only distribution channel that do not work for insurance companies. In other words, we're the only ones who are truly independent, and we represent 5 million drivers across the province. About 50 to 60% of personal lines insurance and 95% of commercial insurance. So when we speak to regulators, they see us as that independent voice who actually speak for consumers. And I think that's something that has been a real eye-opener for me. When I think about the industry and I think about trends of the industry, One thing that I've been really excited about is the efforts towards bringing in new talent into the industry and training and education and all of that. I got to go to my first YBC conference and speak there. YBC is the Young Brokers Conference, and that was a fantastic event to see the future leaders of the industry stepping up. So it was a great year, definitely. But if I can, the highlight was a convention, and specifically around convention. As president, I get to put my imprint on our annual convention. Our convention is a very large convention. It's over 3,000 brokers from across the province. It's the largest insurance event of the year in Canada. And because of my acceptance speech when I became president, I talked about music. I talked about my history as a drummer and what I learned from being a drummer and how I applied it to business. I came up with the idea and pitched the idea of making it a music theme, which we did. We had a fantastic keynote speaker who is a world-renowned rock drummer who does speaking of business issues, and that was fantastic. But the highlight for me would have been the after party that we had, where we brought in a band and we asked brokers to come up and play. And I had a very special opportunity to do that with my daughter, who got up on stage and sang with the band, and I got to play with her in front of 1,000 brokers at the after party. So it was a really special personal event for me, but also it was allowed me to show a little bit of myself at a personal level to my peers in the industry, and that was a lot of fun for sure. And I must say, we also raised a lot of money for a charity that I care about, Music Counts, and we were able to make that donation on behalf of the IBAO. So it was just a fantastic year from that perspective for sure. Well, we're super excited about the future. We are in a position now for accelerated growth. The plan is to, we've been growing at 10 to 15% a year. We want to accelerate that. We think that there's room to do much more, and then take isure outside the province ultimately, and to bring it across Canada. So we're super, super excited about that. We have an amazing team that we've worked really hard, especially over the last 5 years, to build. It's the team, but it's also the culture, the technology, the capability. And so we've built a really great scalable company now, and I'm just super excited about the next stage of what that means. Don't let anyone tell you can't do it. Just ignore them. Put your head down, figure it out, and you'll figure it out. If you're passionate about it and you're willing to do the hard work, you'll figure it out and you'll achieve your goals. And just ignore the people who tell you you can't do it. That's the one thing, looking back, I would have told myself earlier on in my career.